Oh, that's me, isn't it? Hi there, and welcome to the Outro That podcast.
That's the best intro there's ever been, I think.
I was just waiting for a
moment. Oh no, it's me.
I forgot to ask where you were in the world in the last episode, but you started this episode without a different, greeting.
Look, you owe us two foreign language hellos right now.
Two foreign language hellos. Oh my God. I don't think I've got any in me. Wait there. Namaste.
Yeah, good. Well done. You haven't done that one yet.
Yeah.
India.
And the salve, an Italian formal hello. So
it's when you're at those Italian weddings and you're meeting grandparents for the first time.
That's it. Salve. I'll just go around shouting that.
Love it.
But yes, welcome to the I'll Try That podcast. This week we are heading down to Devon, and we're going to try. I'll have to probably say this at the top of the podcast. This is my sister's boyfriend's brewery called Copperhead Ales, and they're opening up a new tap room. So they're giving us some ale to try, and we thought we'd give it a review on the podcast. Over to Joe.
Thanks, mate. Spot on. So,
let's see.
We are travelling to the Isle of Man Beer and Cider Festival, which has got a very special beer that's been brewed by Ockel, which is a brewery, obviously on the Isle of Man itself, and they have brewed, and they've been going for 170 years, which is pretty impressive in itself. So well done, Ockels. But they have brewed a special Ockels SOS bitter that is in commemoration of the RNLI's 200th anniversary. For anyone who doesn't know, who wants to explain who the RNLI is? What does the RNLI stand for?
I feel like one person is like uniquely qualified to answer that question.
Well, no,
so I'll have a go.
As you guys were just insulting me, I don't want to talk about it anymore. This is
the RNLI, because you know about them, Rich. To me, it's the really nice, lovely individuals.
That is us. We're just a group of lovely people who go out to sea to help people.
There you go. And yeah, so you are, put into American terms, you are our Coast Guard, aren't you? You are the people who save people off, who have gone off on dinghies and got lost, and windsurfers who have things, or people who've fallen off piers and need fishing out, don't they?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a large voluntary organisation of volunteers who go out to sea to save people who've got themselves into difficult situations. And I'm currently a trainee, so I'm slowly making my way up the ranks. They'll let me drive the boat one day, but we're working on that.
You have to currently just sit in the dock with a buoyancy aid on.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm just the one putting the buoyancy aids on the team as they go out the door.
Nice. Yeah.
But yeah, they've had a beer brewed for them, which is nice.
They have indeed, and the president of the Douglas branch, Peter Kane, not Michael Caine, who was the first to sample this beer, has said that he was delighted that the ale has been crafted in its honour. And he said that people obviously supporting the RNLI, which has its roots on the island itself, on the Isle of Man. Did you know that, Rich?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. They have a station there, I believe.
Well, one of their main stations is on. I mean, it makes sense. The Isle of Man is an island, isn't it? In the middle of the channel between the Irish Sea, isn't it? The Isle of Man.
Now you're testing.
Yeah, it's like
geography.
West out of it's like Lancashire and go west into the toward the island. Isn't it?
So they're quite up for saving people on the water because they're surrounded by water, is what we're basically saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine they're probably one of the more busier operations, saving all those people out and about. But it's the 200 year it's brewed for, isn't it?
It is. It's the 200th year anniversary, which is this year, 2024. But that's pretty spectacular. Something that's going on 200 years. And then we talked at the start that Ockels has been going for over 170 years. So they're almost as old as the RNLI, but the RNLI was founded sooner. But yeah, earlier. But wow, 200 years. What a great organisation. And as you said, Richard, volunteer, like on the backs of volunteers as well, which is just incredible.
Which is always impressive. I was going to say, have any of you tried Ockels before? I've never heard of it.
Not that I can think of. No.
Ockels,
I'm
like
guessing
the name,
they're local to that neck of the woods.
They are indeed.
Hang on, how's it spelled? Ockel. Is it? I'm trying to think
Okell. We can try them. We can go to a few different pubs.
Is it from Douglas, are they? I think, on the Isle of Man.
Are they dotted about anywhere? Oh, so I like the way it's spelled, Ockles.
I think I was getting them mixed up with, isn't there one called Arkles, which is Swindon, which is my neck of the woods. That's why I was starting to go, I think I know them, but no, that's Arkels rather.
Nice.
He said Ark, right?
Yeah, they seem to just have a very limited number of beers. But they actually have the permanent cask, which is this Ockles bitter, and obviously they've made a special SOS version, which is probably just designed up slightly differently for the of the permanent cask. They have a seasonal cask, which is the Ockles Spring Ram, which is a golden beer, and then they have a bottled Ockles IPA and a keg of Ockles Smooth bitter.
Nice.
So yeah, quite traditional, I would say, when it comes to types of beer.
So Travers, that's, not necessarily your sort of beer choice necessarily, but feels like it has the RNLI connection. You might need to adjust. Yeah, basically.
I might just need to just lump and leave it really, and kind of just have to get on with it.
We're talking of the opposite end of the spectrum. With Ockles and the RNLI have been going for 200 years, or close to 200 years for Ockles' point of view. Who are we talking about today, Drabs? Copperhead Ales.
We're talking about.
Tell me about these guys.
So Copperhead Ales. Well, I've been sent a list of things, but it's down to two guys. One of them who is currently dating my sister, and they have started a brewery. Must be a few years back now.
Okay.
Just started, that usual people just starting out doing homebrew, and they kind of upped the homebrew from 100 litres to 200 litres, and then started selling it in local markets, kind of all around Devon, Plymouth, different festivals and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they've kind of grown, and they've kind of got a bit of, like a lot of local breweries, they're kind of quite big where they are and everything like that. And they've got into a couple of pubs and everything around the area. And then they've finally got some funding, some investment, and they're going to open up their first tap room in Top Nest in the next few months.
Well done, guys.
So they're currently in the process of kind of doing all the bits and bobs and kind of putting in new flooring and getting all the taps ready and everything like that. So they should be open. I believe they're looking to get to the start of the summer, I think. And they've got quite a nice selection of beer already, which you guys have got the Pale Rider.
Yeah.
I believe I dropped off to you guys.
Indeed, yeah.
The Ace High Extra Pale Ale, which is very cool.
Ace High Extra Pale Ale, which I think is their kind of like their most popular one, the one they sell the most of. But they've got some bitters that I've been lucky enough. Every time I go down and visit my sister and Jordan's there, I get to try whatever they've got coming out at the moment. And I've always got a few bottles at home, which is, in fact, I've got another one to bring you guys called the Black Flamingo, which is their Imperial Stout. Which is
okay. And that's not because they made it, but that's just the phrasing Imperial Stout. I get a very visceral reaction to.
But yeah, they're really nice lads. So I just wanted to give them a shout out on here. And you guys have been invited down to the tap room when they do open. But so they've got brewing credentials. God, why have I completely blanked on his name? So not Jordan, Jack, who he brews with as well. Used to work for Rebellion Brewery. I don't know if you've heard of them. Yeah. So he used to brew for a Rebellion Brewery, and that's where he got kind of all of his ideas from. And so, yeah, he has a bit of a brewing background. It wasn't just straight out and about and into giving it a go. But they're doing really well, which is just nice. So I just wanted to give them a bit of airing and a bit of space on our podcast.
Yeah, well, I think good on them. I mean, that sounds brilliant. They're on the very early stages of their journey by the sound of things, but sound like they're going from strength to strength, growing in space and startings, and the tap room's really exciting. Yeah, I can see that they've got a photo of the two guys on their Instagram page, getting the keys to their new unit, the Copperhead Ales Brewery tap room and bottle shop, which is always going to be good. And so am I right in saying, Drabs, that of course they'll do beers that you can pull on tap, but they're primarily in bottles outside of taps?
Yeah, so they sell everything in the typical brown bottle, which is quite nice. And they've been selling them across all of the markets and stuff like that. But I haven't actually tried anything off their tap yet, which I'm quite excited for.
I must say, well, maybe we'll get on to the beer itself in a little bit, but I really like this, complete blank canvas brown bottle with just a label on, almost like a gift tag sort of arrangement. It feels like you're having one of those limited edition, you know, you buy them in small batches, or they're made in small batches. I mean, they are presumably as well.
Yeah.
But it is like you're having something a little bit unique and that is really not widely available. And that, I don't know, for that, it probably gets communicated very well that, you know, there's probably, you know, a real person at the end of making this beer who's probably put a lot of love and hard work into it, basically. So it's nice to have something that's, I'm laughing, that's lighthearted. No, it's a wonderful thing. But yeah, I think that sort of, it translates very well when you have the bottle like that.
I also think.
Yeah, and I tell you.
Sorry, Travis, currently.
No, I was going to say, yeah, I do. I was having a chat to Jordan about it, and I think they would like to move to the label and the stickering as well at some point. But it is just another
expense
when you kind of just concentrate it. Yeah, it's another expense when you're just concentrating on the beer, kind of to start with. I quite like it. I quite like, yeah, as Barbara said, I like the bottle over it. But I can imagine it could be a bit difficult if you lose them all, or it's a really windy day at the market.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
You could end up with anything with any label on.
So I think now you'll see they will probably go towards labels. I quite like the idea of them just having like a main bottle label, but usually you'll normally see on bottles as well, like a neck label as well, which can kind of usually host the logo on. But what I love about this, obviously, you were saying Jordan and Jack, right, are the pairing.
Yeah.
So Jack, when he got married, they set up the Copperhead Ales stand that they take around to festivals and other things for self-serve pints. So I think how baller is that you've provided the beer to your own wedding? That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that. That's a solid idea. So it reminds me a bit like, was it Joe, at your sister's wedding when they had all the ale barrels along the way? That was really good.
Yeah, that was a nice idea. Get some cakes and things, isn't it? Yeah, no, I like the idea. I mean, what do you think of the taste? What's the beer like?
I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. I like a pale, and this is like it's a non-messed about with pale to me. I lovingly and delicately, as I read the label, poured it on the instructions of the label. They tell you to keep it cool, pour it into a glass, and delicately, because there'll be a little bit of sediment in there. And what you are presented with at the end of it is this lovely kind of golden and sort of straw-coloured, light, very refreshing beer, which is wonderful cold and not too fizzy. It doesn't feel like one of those, naturally doesn't feel like one of those mass-produced sort of beers. And it just goes down smooth, basically.
Well, I said, Barbara, I think these guys will be right up your street, because they've got some very, we'll say it, they've got some mostly, or a motley best bitter, and they've got to base it in like a lightning mild and stuff like that. They've got some really nice, we'll say it, a bit more old manny beers.
These are the ones, yeah. So my dad was asking me about mild recently, or actually, we were even in a pub that did a mild, and it was I think when we were talking about beer trends and themes and stuff, ages and ages ago, I said, mild will come back.
It absolutely is.
I think it possibly did in a fairly small time way. I don't see it lots of places, but mild is a genuine option. But yeah, I can see why this is really popular. I'd definitely try the others as well on the back of this. Is it Deliverance, the other one that caught my eye and that looked a bit of a winner?
Yeah, I've had some of the Deliverance. I had that, I think it was last year I had some. Mm-hmm. I think I posted it onto our Instagram account on the stories when I was at a festival, and it was some of my pre-drinks before heading out, which is nice.
Are you guys enjoying it as well? Don't let me hog all of the the limelight of tasting it. Are you enjoying it?
No, yeah, I'm a bit biased, but yes, I've been trying it for a while now, so I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Joe, your review?
It's really good. Just really good. I think this is a really tasty beer. I like a pale ale, and the fact they've gone extra pale ale for it, I think that's really coming through, because it's an easy drinker. It's arguably kind of like on when you're at a 4.1% ABV, you're kind of thinking sessiony ales. You're thinking these kind of like, it lands towards a pale ale, like kind of extra pale ale territory, but that it doesn't lose any flavor. I think that's what the thing that I was most surprised by actually was just the fact that each sip has kept its flavor. And I'm halfway through the bottle now, and there hasn't been one sip where it's kind of going, It's starting to get a bit flat now. I'm starting to get a bit bored of the flavor, or each time I take a sip, it doesn't like suddenly just go away, or it becomes a slightly flatter or kind of worse beer. It's kept its flavor from the start of drinking this beer to halfway through now. So I'll check in with me when I'm near the bottom of it, once I've kept the unfiltered elements in the bottle, and I will tell you if it's retained its deliciousness.
That's the main. Sorry, just kind of.
I really like it. Sorry to add that. I really like it. That's lovely.
I suppose that, yeah. Well, I'm quite looking forward to the tap room opening, because we're going to go down. We're going to go down and help out for the first couple of days when they do open. And what I quite like is they've combined. There's a curry house next door which they've got is going to be doing all the food in the tap room as well. So if people want to have a curry, you can get in next door, get a curry and take it in, which is a perfect pairing for any beer, I think.
Do you know anything, Rich, on the where the name came from for Copperhead and that sort of thing? Because I'm just noticing that there's it's like a kind of cartoony skull is the sort of central motif for most of the beers. And I assume Pale Rider is something. Well, there was a Pale Rider movie, wasn't it? Wasn't there? I think it was like an 80s Western with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I'm not sure they've based their whole beer on, the whole beer on Ghost Rider.
The Pale Rider, and it's like a 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse thing, isn't it? The Pale Rider, or his name is Death, or something like that. It's a bit heavy for a beer, possibly. But it's also a little bit cool at the same time. If it's reference to a Clint Eastwood film, to me that is just eminently cool. But I was curious if you knew anything about the name and that sort of thing.
No, I don't. But I've just looked at it because it's a skull in the hand, holding a bird.
Yes,
or is the bird tattooed onto his hand?
Yes. So I was reading that as being the Copperhead generic, not generic, but the general Copperhead like emblem thing. But if you look at the other, it's because I happened to be on their Instagram and I saw that there's one for Pale Rider, like, the pump clip is yellow and the skull has got a cowboy hat and a mustache. And I think, is there one just called Copperhead? Oh, that's the Motley Best Bitter, which is like a skull, and it's like the top half is a different color. And I don't know what the Copperhead etymology is outside of just the beer as well. So I was just checking to see what that might have been. There's the Hazed Sunset IPA also. So that's the other one is a skull in a pair of sunglasses and a bucket hat on a red background.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. So I was just curious. Yeah,
I'm not too sure. I'm gonna have to ask him, which is now.
Well, I
feel annoyed that I don't know.
Sorry,
we'll complete the set. So the velvet oatmeal, the velvet oatmeal stout called Smooth is obviously got a jazz vibe. So it's a skull with kind of black glasses and it's like a trilby hat. I've said trilby several times recently.
You're not considering buying a trilby though, are you?
Well, I mean, we're all 5 minutes away from buying a trilby. Oh no, trilby isn't even the one that got stick for not being very cool, was it? It was a fedora that was
the fedora. The Johnny Depp hat. The fedora is the one that you shouldn't touch with a basketball. Yeah. No, I think trilbies are very cool.
Do you want to know? I think you guys will appreciate this. I never told you it till now. A couple of years ago, I actually went to my first proper music festival. That's it.
Was that Blue in concert?
That was it.
Yes.
Yeah, let's take that. No, but
music festival, a bit of a stretch.
Yes, no, it was a proper one, and came away with a fluffy tie-dye bucket hat.
Oh, right. You went straight into. Yeah, you were fully ingratiated.
Leant hard on it.
That's brilliant.
I was not too embarrassed to admit it though.
I wanted to give you guys a quote, because obviously we're talking about it, and obviously Rich is absolutely biased. You don't trust a single word that Rich is saying because he's he's being bribed here, and Barber likes the beer, but he's better off with other types of beers, as we've talked about before in the podcast. But let us give you a review from Ian on Instagram, and this was reposted on Copperhead Ales Instagram page. So Ian, last name not not kind of given, obviously for legal reasons. Just finished my last beer of your outstanding beer, bottle of your outstanding beer for my purchase at Totnes yesterday. So he's finished a lot of beers in a day by the sound of things. He picked them up yesterday and he just finished his last beer. So that's obviously a good sign. Got to hand it to you. Possibly one of the best beers I've tried in years. Wonderful, fruity aftertaste with a caramel edge that lingers on the tongue, yet a nice astringent edge that sets the palate alive. Wonderful coppery hue and a pleasant nose. A big time 5 stars from me. If you can produce this outstanding quality from your garage, crack on, because you are truly brewmeisters. I couldn't say it better than that, Ian, and I have never done. So well done, Ian. That's a brilliant review of,
I was going to say,
Copperhead Ales.
Ian sounds like a fantastic man.
He does. He's got a great grasp on the English language. So we should take a leaf out of his book. Get some new words like tangy.
And
astringent was give over.
Astringent, yeah.
Astringent is a very,
And that's after tanking 12 beers. So
he's finished a lot of beers off and bought them yesterday in Totnes.
Actually, I was hoping you guys actually wouldn't discover that, because to be honest, you will just kick me off and get Ian on instead, to be quite honest.
We need more astringents in our world, in our language, that's for sure.
Yeah, I like that.
But
I do really like
they've
it,
got a big range of beers, haven't they? They've got quite a range that they've posted. Maybe they're just beers. I don't know if they're all year round drabs. Again, we keep posting it at you, and I'm sure you don't know all the answers to this, but they don't.
Well, I know they come and go.
Okay.
And depending, there's only 2 of them brewing, so you can imagine that they can't, and they only have a limited amount of space of what they're doing. I'm assuming it'll become more regular once their tap room opens.
It's quite cool to have like
more
limited batch stuff, right? You know, things that are only around, or seasonal things. That's a very tried and tested area for the brewing world to do, like beers that only you have like a staple 1 or 2, and then you have new beers that kind of come in and out, you know, so check it out. But, I mean, there's one here on their listing, the Sad Kens, which it was a lightning mild, which I know you guys have talked about miles before, which I just thought was hilarious. And actually the Crucial Pills.
Sad Kens, did you say?
Yeah.
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 Why does Sad Ken rings a bell with me, like as a reference to something? Sorry, you keep talking. I just have to voice that out loud.
3-legged blind horse in parade. Tight-mouthed Larry lets it slip to the patrons of the lamb and flag that Sandked is tipped to win.
It's a Bottom episode.
Bottom.
It's an episode of Bottom. Sad Ken is the horse that they back. I love that. That's amazing. Sad Ken. It's like 3-legged donkey.
So they've got a Sad Ken's beer, which I hope it buys.
I have to get hold of that and try that now. Yeah,
brilliant. And if I'm honest, the one that really struck my fancy was one that was called Crucial Pills. And the main reason is because I misread. I thought it said Barbalicious Lager, which was like, to Barbara already. But no, it's a Babylicious Lager.
Yeah. Babylicious Lager.
Thanks. Just in case anyone else wanted my Instagram handle. I don't post much. I'm sorry.
Talking of Instagram, they have 439 followers on Instagram. So if you are listening to this, go and follow them, because they're on a starting point of their journey. They're obviously doing very well, as a good, you know, with the reviews that we've told. Not so much from what we've said. You can't trust us for, you know, on this episode, but take it from Ian. Ian's review is spot on. And this is a really good beer. So, excited to see what happens with their tap room. We'll definitely take them up on the offer when I'm down in the next town or driving past in that area.
May I ask the location of the forthcoming tap room?
Totnes.
Sorry, you did say that earlier. I beg your pardon.
Yeah. So we should. Anyone in Totnes, get down there when it opens.
I feel we should bounce back to Joe. You said we were going to come back to you at the end of the beer.
Oh, yes.
Because you were enjoying it so far, and you were going to... Because to be honest, I've now finished, and I'm sad it's over. And you shouldn't be sad that it's over. You should be glad that it happened.
It's good.
But your thoughts?
It's very nice. It's kept its flavour all the way through. I'm getting the slightly leafy aftertaste that I talked about before we started recording again, but I don't know where that's coming from.
Are you getting the astringents, though?
I'm not. I had to Google what that meant, and I'm not getting the astringents.
Oh, funny.
It's delicious, though. Really nice. And a slightly acidic or bitter taste or smell like black currants or rather ginger. Right. Am I getting a slightly acidic or bitter taste? Yeah, I guess I am at the end there. Maybe this is this herby aftertaste that I'm keep saying. I don't know. Herby. And I don't know how to explain it better. But I'll go to my friend Ian and say, yes, it's astringent. Lovely.
Nice.
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe, Rich,
Barbara, and Simo,
goodbye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
I'll Try That podcast.com,
and watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now.